Welcome to Master Business English. I'm Karima, your business English coach. Today's lesson, we're going to talk about past simple and when clause. So then I will explain it to you what is exactly a when clause, and we're going to see some examples too, okay? So this is an important lesson you must know because it will be important also for your future tenses too, okay? And then I will explain it to you why past simple is very important to learn in a business environment or work environment too, okay? So I know most of you suffer a lot with this tense, but promise you, you're not going to suffer a lot. Let's get this started. So, as we did in the last lesson, let's review and to remember when to use the past simple. Okay? Ready, steady, go. When to use the past simple? It means the past simple, it is an action that happened, action or activity. It is an action or activity that happened in the past, completely the past, and it will not be in touch to the present, will not be connected to the present, okay? So you can see here the X, it is located in the past, before the present. And that is a very important issue to take into account, okay? Good, very good. Let's go on. So 3 conditions to take into account about the past simple. It indicates an action or an activity in the past. So it is a past action or past activity that happened before the present. Okay, so that action or that activity started in the past, okay, ended or finished in the past at a particular moment in the past. And of course, it must be a completed action. So, started, ended at a particular moment in the past, and that action, that activity must be a finished action. Okay? Good. I don't think so there would be any matter, okay, to all of you because we have studied it last lesson too with some examples, and we show you, or I show you how it worked. Examples. Because why examples, Karima? Because most of us, okay, we understand better the concepts, or sometimes some of us struggle a bit learning, okay, let's say the concept. But through examples, okay, we understand much better. So here we have examples. She lost the opportunity to become a manager in that company. The action started, ended, it happened at a particular moment in the past, and it's a completely finished action. Why, Karima? Because, okay, it happened in the past. It is not happening now, or it will not happen in the future. That specific opportunity or situation finished, happened in the past. Next one. A week later, a recruiter called me and we set up a phone interview. Okay, it happened in the past, started, finished at a particular moment, because when this recruiter called this person, and they also had an interview, or at least, decided when they will have that interview. Okay, so the action is also finished in the past. The next example, he quit his job a month later, started up his new business. He quit his job and a month later started up his new business. The both actions, like the previous example, both actions started, ended at a particular moment in the past. Okay, and those actions are completely finished. They are not happening in the present time. Okay, good. Last example. The receptionist met them in the lobby and led them to the conference room. Good. Here we have both actions started in the past, finished in the past, happened in a particular moment in the past, and are completely finished actions. So here we have all the conditions that those actions or activities needed in order to be used in past simple. Excellent. Let's go on. To here, we'd like to see if someone has any question. Okay. Okay, everything is fine. I like it. So, go on. Why past simple is important? Why? Why should we learn the past simple in English? Because once you know the past simple, it is super easier to have a conversation and communicate very clearly to the person you are talking to in business English. So it means you can use it at work, when you have a negotiation with your sellers or suppliers, or with your bosses, or your colleagues at work, in your company, for example, who are abroad, and who, of course, who speak English. So yes, that is why the past simple is really important to be learned. So I will repeat it again, because it helps you to have an easier conversation, that to communicate clearly to other people or to a person in business English. But not only business English, could be, of course, in a normal life, not exactly in business. So here we have more about why past simple is important. Because it is where we're all from. Exactly. Yes, because we need to use it to describe most of our personal experiences. So we use it to talk about our personal experiences, specifically to describe them, as all the things that have happened to other people. So not only ours, but other experience from other people too. So yes, so again, it is in order to use it it is easy to us to use the past simple, in order to communicate clear when we talk to other people, but also it is very useful because help us to describe, okay, our personal experiences. But not only ours, but others too. Because of course, the things, okay, the things or the activities or the actions that usually happen, they happen now, they happened in the past, or they maybe will happen in the future. Good. The benefits. So what about the benefits? So what will I get if I learn the past simple, Karime? It helps us to build trust in others. It helps us to build trust in others. It is very important because that is essential in business. So you can't lose the opportunity to sell your products, for example, or your services, when you are dealing or talking also, okay, to your customers, or for example, to your suppliers. Exactly. So the past simple, okay, with the past simple, we use the past simple because with it, we can tell the story, a story. So then we can sell our services, our products, our goods, or also ourselves. Why not? Because maybe we just want to maybe to get a better salary or a promotion at work, or also work abroad in another country. So learning English in a business environment in these cases is very important. And past simple help us in this or to get these goals, okay? Because behind to whatever negotiation, also when you are dealing to work in another country, for example, or to get a promotion, or to get a better salary, or when you want to sell your goods, your services, products, okay, or when you are dealing with your suppliers for getting a discount, for example, why not? That's possible. We normally start with a story, or at least I recommend it to you to start with a story. But the story, like storytelling, because behind that story, there is a moral that we could use, okay, to build trust. Exactly, to build trust in others. So that will be really beneficial to our purpose, whatever it will be. Good. You got this. You really got this. To hear, is there any question here? I see. It's very, very, very clear. Thank you. So, agreement. Okay, we have just learned past simple and what it is important to be learned and how it can help us and and its benefits. Good, but what is a clause? What is a clause? Okay, yes, a clause is a short structure. When I talk about structure, I mean a sentence that has a subject, auxiliary verb, and complement. That is a clause. It is a short structure that contains subject, auxiliary, verb, and complement. And it can be a simple sentence or also can be a part of a compound or complex sentence which consists of more than one clause. Agreement? So what? Okay, I will explain it to you little by little. Okay, when we have a sentence or a sentence is composed by a subject, auxiliary, verb, and complement. This is a simple structure of a sentence, but a sentence can be longer or bigger or larger. So a sentence can also contain two clauses in a main sentence. It means one subject, auxiliary, verb, complement, and then again another subject, auxiliary, verb, and complement. And that these two clauses in one sentence, we call it, okay, a compound, or also could be also a complex sentence. Okay? Okay, but a simple sentence is just compounded by one clause that it contains subject, auxiliary, verb, and complement. Is it clear? Oh, yes. Very good. I'm very happy. Let's see more about it. Because as I told you, with examples, we understand better. Okay, let's read. My boss My boss asked me to print out a long report at home tonight. Here we have the subject, my boss asked, the verb in past simple, and the complement, the rest. Me to print out a long report at home tonight. Comma. Can you see? There is a comma because the sentence is not finished. Next, and he asked to Elisa to enter the data into the database. Good. So, in the second part, what we have? He is the subject, asked is the verb, and to Elisa to enter, and the rest of the sentence is a complement. So as you can see here, we have a long sentence, okay, that started with my boss and finished in a second sentence too. So we have one big sentence, and we have here, okay, in both sentences, we have a subject, we have a verb, and we have a complement. So that is a compound or long sentence. Okay? Good. So again, okay, my boss asked me to print out a long report at home tonight, and he asked Lisa to enter the database into the and he asked Lisa to enter the data into the database. Excellent. So remember, we have here two clauses in a big sentence. Okay? Good. Very good. So, when clause, important to remember. A when clause, what happens when we have a when clause? There is a rule that says that if a sentence contains when and has the simple past in both clauses, in both short clauses, in a sentence, the action in the when clause happens first. So again, if a sentence contains when and has the simple past in both clauses, the action in the when clause happens first. But Karima, it's a bit difficult to understand. Okay, let's go to see it in an easy way through examples. Oh no. Okay, here we have I stood under the tree when it began to rain. You see here we have a sentence, okay, and we have two clauses. And in the middle we have the word when. That is a when clause. That is a clause that is called when clause. So in the first part we have I stood under the tree. There's a short structure, subject, verb, complement, and then we have it began to rain. And in the second part, we have the subject, the verb, and the complement. Good. But which of these actions happened first? The first action was the rain began. The rain began. And the second action is I stood under a tree. Of course, the rain began. And in order to protect myself from the rain, I stood under a tree. So in this case, we have the first action, the rain began, and the second action, I stood under the tree. So next to the when, next to the word when, we should locate the first action, the clause that happened first. Okay, so we have when it began to rain. And in the other side, we situated the other action. In this case, I stood under a tree. Okay, I stood under the tree when it began to rain, and it makes sense. Let's see the other example. When it began to rain, comma, I stood under the tree. Here, I have just located when at the beginning. And in order to divide the clauses, I use a comma between them. Don't forget, when the clause, the when clause, it could be also while or if, but we are going to see those topics later on in other sessions, okay? In this case, talking about when we have a when clause and it goes at the beginning of a sentence, don't forget, please, to put between the sentences a comma. Okay, the comma is really important. Okay, good. So here we have, it always respect the rule. The first action is the rain began, and the second action is I stood under a tree. So the rain began, next to the when clause, comma, and then the second action, I stood under the tree. So we can say, when it began to rain, I stood under the tree. Yes? Great. So, in general ideas, just in order to answer some of your questions that I see, okay, we can write either. We can use when in the middle of the sentence, or we can use when at the beginning of a sentence. But if we are using when at the beginning of the sentence, please don't forget the comma in the middle. Okay? Excellent. Hope this example is help you to understand it better. But just in case, let's see other example. When I dropped my coffee, the coffee spilled on my skirt. So when I dropped my cup, the coffee spilled on my skirt. The first action certainly is I dropped my coffee. I dropped my coffee is the first action because I needed to drop it, and after, of course, the coffee spilled on my skirt. So the second action is the coffee spilled on my skirt. So here we have used when at the beginning of a sentence. So we say when with the first action. When I dropped my cup, comma, don't forget the comma, the coffee spilled on my skirt. Other example, or other way. The coffee spilled on my skirt when I dropped my cup. The coffee spilled on my skirt when I dropped my cup. The first action, I dropped my cup. The second action, the coffee spilled on my skirt. But it doesn't matter because next to when we locate the first action. Okay? So the coffee spilled on my skirt when I dropped my cup. Good. Here we have when in the middle. Let's see some comments. Ah, very good. I like this comment. Yes, I will explain it to you better about, okay? When we use when, the when word, the when clause in the middle, okay, we do not use a comma. No, just only when we use that clause, the when clause at the beginning. But I will explain it to you better. We call it when clause because we use the word when and then the short structure after. So we call that piece when clause because it is compounded by when plus the subject, the auxiliary verb, and the complement. Okay? So when the when clause goes in the middle, we do not use a comma. We only use the comma when the when clause starts in the beginning. Okay? Good. Thank you. I'm very happy I've answered your question or your doubt. Okay, let's see exercises. I got up to open the door. The bell rang. I got up to open the door. The bell rang. Which is the first action? Let's see. The first action is the bell rang. Exactly, the bell rang. And the second action, I got up to open the door. I got up to open the door. So let's create our compound or long sentence. I got up to open the door when the bell rang. When the bell rang, I got up to open the door. The first action goes next to when, in the when clause. And the second action goes in the other part of the sentence. So remember, when goes at the beginning, we need a comma between the clauses. But when goes in the middle, there's no comma. Other exercise. He answered her call. She called him. He answered her call. She called him. Which is the first action? Let's see. Exactly. The first action is she called him. She called him. That's the first action. And the second action is he answered her call. He answered her call. So, let's see. In a when clause, he answered her call when he called him. He answered her call when he called him. Or, my mistake, when she called him. He answered her call when she called him. When she called him, he answered her call. Remember, again, one more time, comma, when the when clause goes at the beginning. One more. The boss ordered us to update the report. The boss ordered us to update the report. We did it within an hour. We did it within an hour. Which is the first action? Let's see. The first action, the boss ordered us to update the report. The boss ordered us to update the report, while the second action is we did it within an hour. We did it within an hour. We did it within an hour. Let's say it in a clause. We did it within an hour when the boss ordered us to update the report. We did it within an hour when the boss ordered us to update the report. Or when the boss ordered us to update the report, we did it within an hour. When the boss ordered us to update the report, we did it within an hour. Wording here. This trick is just 90% of the times. 90% of the times, okay? Because maybe you can find a book, okay, or an article where that sentence doesn't respect this trick, okay? So remember, it's not 100%, but 90%. It should be, in fact, it must be 100%, okay? But, well, just to warn you that you can find it in an article or a book, and maybe the rule will be not respected. That was an excellent and great job for today. In order to practice more with some exercises, we invited you to join our webinars with Zoom. Do not worry, we're going to tell you when they will be, and you can also join us, okay? So, if you are asking about the materials or asking about the exercise where you can put into practice the topics we are learning, do not worry, okay? So we're going to give it to you after, okay, at the end of the webinars, okay? We will send it to you, the PowerPoints, in order to help you to remember, to learn, and to check it again, the lesson, but also, of course, the links, okay, or the links or the exercises, so you can also put them into practice. Excellent. If you want to learn with us, just tell us about an issue, a topic, grammar, vocabulary, phrasal verb, whatever you want to learn. Ask, and we will teach you and explain it to you, or them to you. Maybe you have a lot of matters that you would like to share or to ask or to understand better. So whatever you would like, please write as a comment, okay, leave as a comment and tell us the topic, the topics, the grammar, the vocabulary you would like to understand or to learn better. And as usual, come and learn with us next Wednesday at 7:00 or 5 p.m. Come, join us. And thank you very much for today's lesson. Thank you very much. Hope you like it. Please like it, subscribe us, and write your comments. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Bye.